Oh, I've recently got into cycling for the first time. So I bought my first road bike in December and I've been really enjoying, going for long bike rides along the bike paths around my house.
You're like a queen now.
Yes. Got like the clipped in pedals where you're like stuck to your bike. So I've got plenty of like slow motion
They're called
falls.
cleats.
Cleats.
Or you've fallen.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you can't clip out.
Yeah, because I think that like I don't need to stop and then I do because there's a car or something. So I just go. And it looks so weird because you just like plonk.
Because you just clip your foot out and
I
stand.
No.
Hey there, I'm Phil and we're doing another interview with one of our team members at Skye. So today we've got Azaria Bell.
Morning, Phil.
Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So talk to me about what is your role here at Skye?
So I'm a financial advisor at Skye and I've been here for about 4 years now. So helping clients get their insurances sorted, life, TPD, income protection, trauma cover, all that kind of thing. And I love it.
So why did you decide to be an advisor?
So when I was at school, I really liked doing business as a subject, so I decided to just do that at university. I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to go with it, but I knew that I liked business. So I started a degree of business, but at the time I wasn't a citizen of Australia, so I couldn't get HECS, which meant that if I wanted to go to uni, I had to get really good at saving money so that I could pay my university fees. Now, I was classed as domestic, so my fees weren't too crazy. It was about $9,000 a year.
Wow, you didn't have HECS. I'm blown away.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So that's what happened. I was like, okay, well, I need to really lock in and get good with money so that I can afford to go to uni. So I saved up for the kind of the first year of fees, and then thankfully they brought in some legislation to say that if I had been in Australia for 10 years, I could get HECS. So it was only the first year that had to happen. Okay. But doing that actually got me really interested in personal finance. I was like, I actually quite like this, making budgets in Excel, tracking my expenses. I started doing that for my friends as well, so setting up budgets for them. And then I found out that you could like do that as a job. Like you could get paid to help people with money. So I, once it came in that I could get HECS, I was like, all right, I can afford to extend my degree a little bit. I changed over to commerce and majored in financial planning and tax.
Yeah, cool.
And, living the dream.
So did you ever think about not going to uni? Like that's a big amount of effort to go to uni. A lot of people, 18, 19 go, well, I'll go to uni because I'm not sure what to do, but it just goes on HECS, so it's not that much of an issue. Did you ever consider, well, I need to go work for a year and then maybe go back to uni, or you always knew you wanted to go to uni?
No, I always knew I wanted to go to uni. So when I was maybe 14, so my family, we were living in Adelaide. We went on holiday to the Gold Coast and I remember seeing a sign for Griffith University and being like, I'm going to go to Griffith University one day. Like that place looks really cool. So even when I was a teenager, I had kind of manifested going to uni. Cool. And then when we eventually ended up moving to the Gold Coast, I was like, well, I've got to go to Griffith Uni. Like that's kind of been the dream. I always knew I wanted to do my degree and no one in my family had been to university before. So I think it was really important to me to get a good education, get a decent job, have some financial security and build from there. Yeah.
Oh, and that's awesome. You've always impressed me. I remember when I was 18, I went to a uni, very different type of uni. And ours was paid for, but mum and dad basically loaned me the money and I just paid them back when I could.
Yeah.
Incredibly impressive, deciding to go to uni, because most people kind of begrudgingly do it, or it's just a bit of a, time waster, but having to pay for it is good. So talk to me about your time at Skye. How did you get introduced to Skye? How did you find out about Skye? How did you start working here?
Yeah, so I originally my entrance into the industry was through a scholarship through my university, which was sponsored by a financial planning business. So I got that scholarship. I did a bit of an internship with them and I ended up working with them for a few years. And then I moved to another company and I still felt like I hadn't quite found the right place for me. And I was getting a bit like, bit maybe disheartened. I was like, oh, maybe financial planning is not for me. Like, I like the work, but I'm just not quite finding where I want to be.
And talk to me about that. Is it because you love doing budgets and you loved helping people set up budgets, but financial planning is very rarely about that because it's incredibly difficult to make money helping people budgeting?
Exactly. No, 100%. And I had always envisioned my career in financial planning being about helping young people get set up so that they can give themselves and their children like the best chance financially in life. And then when I entered the industry, I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm helping the rich get richer here. Like, and it wasn't really what my intention was.
Yeah.
So I was feeling a bit disheartened. I ended up calling Glen, who was a friend who runs the Money, Money, Money podcast. And I said to him, I'm like, oh, Glen, I think I'm just going to get a job as a barista or something. I just don't know if this industry is for me. And he was like, no, call Phil from Skye or Thompson Financial Services. It was probably still called at the time, technically. I was like, oh, all right. So I had a call with you and you were like, yeah, I'll take you on, but you need to do your professional year. So you need to do like your training year as an advisor. And you pretty much said, if you get to the end of it and you still don't want to be an advisor, no worries, all good. But like, I'll bring you on and train you.
And what was your answer to that?
Well, the first time we spoke, I said,
what was the answer?
See ya, I don't want to do insurance.
Stuff you, Phil. That was like...
Well, I think I was just nervous about like pigeonholing myself into one particular thing. But like, I love insurance. I've always found it really interesting. And I took out my insurances when I was like 19 years old. I took out life and TPD and trauma insurance. So come on, it was always meant to be.
My side is I was like, look, with small business, all right, I'll take the leap of faith and bring on someone who doesn't live in the same state, and I think it'll work. And then you said, nah, get stuffed. I'm going somewhere else. You went somewhere else, and then you came begging back.
Crawling back.
That's my story.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
What did you do? You reached out to Glen to reach out to me to see if we needed someone?
Yes, yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Thank you for putting your pride aside and taking me back.
You've seen what I wear and how I dress. I do not have much pride in most of the things that I do. There are some people that I jokingly say they're dead to me, but really I couldn't care less.
No.
Like, it's such a small industry. We want to try and be friends with everyone all the time, and there's no point begrudging anyone for making a choice. And I also, I legit, when we interview we've interviewed heaps of people, and some people come, some people don't accept the roles. And at the end of the day, I'm always like, do what's right for you. Even with team members who do, end up leaving, we never begrudge anyone's kind of decision as long as it's right for them. And I'll tell them, I'll be pretty brutal telling people that don't work for this business because I don't think it suits you based on our interview, whether you work for us or somewhere else. Don't work for this business.
Yep.
So I'll always be pretty honest with people about what I think. And we didn't have a conversation about that. But so what was my next question? So talk to me about once you joined Skye. So you've been here 4.5 years.
Yes.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Yeah. So 4.5 years. What was something about Skye that when you first started, that you didn't expect?
Oh, that's probably how much goes into insurance advice. So when I'd worked in the industry previously, you do a bit of super, a bit of tax, estate planning, insurance, and you'd have maybe a 30 or 40 page, advice document. And insurance is kind of a bit of a footnote in there. It's not the main thing. So I was really surprised by how much detail we go into when it comes to insurance. Far more detail than I'd ever kind of been exposed to. So everything was very customized for the client. We'd have the medical pre-assessments. We'd compare with all the different insurance companies. We didn't favor, one particular insurance company. It was just whatever's right for the client. So I think, just the level of detail and the complexity of insurance. I thought I had a pretty good understanding of insurance. I'm like, oh yeah, life TPD, $500,000, like pretty straightforward. But there's so much more to those insurance contracts. So.
Yeah. The more you specialize in something, the more you realize you don't know actually what the heck's going on until you really dive deep.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I learned in retrospect. So initially I was nervous about going into just insurance only because I would be pigeonholing myself. But now I'm like, oh, thank goodness, because I can just be really good at this one particular area. And I can sleep well at night knowing that I haven't given poor investment advice because I haven't been, up to scratch on that, and I'm trying to do everything. I'm just honing in on the insurance.
Yeah. And a lot of holistic advisors look at insurance as simple. Yeah, we just give, you pick out a number that, maybe we've got a house view on the level of cover, and then you pick the cheapest insurance provider, and happy days, we move forward. And the way we do it is like, well, actually we want to spend a lot of time making sure that the insurer that we choose is the right one for the individual client. So once you start specializing, it does become more complex, and then you go, oh, there's so many problems we need to solve on for every single client that it keeps it interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
That was something that, for me, I'd come from holistic and decided to go insurance only. And the more you lean into it, the more like, oh, this is actually really complex. Every client is their own special butterfly. And we've got to understand that special butterfly and what insurance is best for them and their family.
Yeah, 100%. Because some insurance is always better than nothing. But when it comes to those clients needing to claim, like I've had an email this morning from a client asking to help claim on their income protection. I'm not sure what the details are there yet. But yeah, like when it actually push comes to shove and people really need that insurance, you want to make sure you've got it right or as close to right as possible.
Yeah. So how many people were in the team when you joined? Do you remember?
I think I was like the maybe 5th person in the business.
Yeah.
And now I've been here longer than everyone.
Yeah, and now no longer than me. Yeah,
not longer than you.
I may get fired soon. And so we've got just around almost 50 people in the team. So what's that journey been from your point of view in terms of that growth, seeing a whole bunch of new people come in and
just mind-blowing, yeah. Every day, every time we get together as a team, I'm like, who are all these people? Where'd you guys come from? Of course, I do know them, but it's been amazing. It feels like working at Skye has been like a project that I've been in on since day one, because I'm super invested in it. Like, I love this business. I love the people I work with. So seeing it grow, I feel proud as well. And it just feels like, we all put in the effort. We all work really hard, and we can actually see day by day the impact that we're making and how many people we're helping. So it's absolutely amazing. And we've just done such a good job, I think, of hiring the right people and keeping that really fun culture that we had even when there were 5 of us to now when there's 50 of us.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work, and it's, everyone needs to be invested in that work to make sure that when new people come in, like our newest team member, Luis, do you remember after that guessing game? And he came number 1, I came number 2, and I was like, "Who's number 1?" He's like, "That was me, sucker."
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, this guy, we've got the right guy.
He's our guy." Yeah, I was like, "That's good." Telling me to suck it for beating me, I'm like, "That's exactly
like
what we want."
Week.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I love brutal honesty. So talk to me about what has been harder in the journey, like small business.
Yep.
5 of us, what has actually gotten harder as a bigger business?
What's gotten harder? Well, obviously just keeping track of who's who in the business, who's doing what. There was always like a piece of me that was like, as we get bigger, am I going to become more diluted and less important in the business? Because when you're, I was the only advisor other than you. So, I felt quite important to Skye, and I still do feel important to Skye, but I'm like, now there's so many people in the picture. So dealing with that at first when we were kind of rapidly expanding a couple of years ago was a bit strange, but like now that we're 50 people, I don't feel any less important. And everyone's just brings so much diversity to the team, new kind of experiences, new opinions, and it just gets better and better. So
that's good. And one of the things that I've always appreciated about us is you've always told me to pull my head in, or you've always yelled at me. You've been very comfortable yelling at me. And they're the type of people who I really appreciate in the business is even new people, like even Luis Spain's telling me to suck it for beating me. Like, they're the type of people that I value a lot in the business, and you've always done that really well. And I guess it's helpful being one of 5 to be like, well, I can, we talked every day then, but now we don't talk every day. And so, keeping that feeling of, even though we're not talking every day, I can pipe up and say, "Phil, you're an idiot for A, B, and C," which is always helpful.
But now I mostly deal with Trent, so now I can tell Trent he's
That's right. That's right. The other day when you said, "Oh, yes, me," you said something the other day, and I did a group chat with all the female advisors. And I was like, what did I do?
That sounds way worse than what it was.
I know. And I freaked out. And I'm like, tell me, what did I do? What mistake did I make? Who do I need to apologize to? Anyway, it wasn't that bad.
No, just for context, Phil didn't do anything wrong. the conversation was, should I be putting on makeup and getting dressed up for meetings every day? And Phil was like, just don't bother doing that. And I was like, yeah, but for women it's different, and when we have all these pressures. So I started a group chat with the girls. I'm like, do you guys do that? They were like, nah. I'm like, all right, it's not.
Yeah,
Phil's not the issue. It's just me.
Yeah, get over yourself, Azaria.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I felt seen by the other advisors.
Yes.
But I did freak out. A minor freak out hearing that. All right. So thank you so much for taking the time. I'd love to hear an interesting thing about yourself.
Oh, interesting thing about myself.
Like a hobby that you're into. Like anything interesting about yourself. There's plenty of interesting things. What's one of them?
Thanks, Will. Well, I've recently got into cycling for the first time. So I bought my first road bike in December, and I've been really enjoying, going for long bike rides along the bike paths around my house.
You're like a queen now.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Like a legend. Got like the clipped in pedals where you're like stuck to your bike. So I've got plenty of like slow motion.
They're called cleats.
Cleats, yes.
Or you've fallen.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you can't clip out.
Yeah, because I think that like I don't need to stop, and then I do because there's a car or something, so I just go. And it looks so weird because you just like plonk.
Because you just clip your foot out and
I
stand.
know. Well, but sometimes if it happens too quickly, you don't have time, so you just fall.
Do you find your foot gets stuck? Because you can loosen it. You can make it easier to clip out.
No, mine are really loose. I've got no excuse.
Oh, okay.
But
Just coordination. Just general coordination is the issue.
But I've mostly stopped falling off my bike now.
Okay,
so
good.
I think I'm improving.
Mostly stopped. I love that. You know what? I got young daughters, and they haven't fallen off their bike in a long time. So we can do some group rides, and we can help.
They can coach me. But eventually I want to get an indoor trainer so we can race each other.
Let's go
on Zwift before work.
Zwift.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking the time.
Thanks, Phil.
All right. Awesome.